Welcome back to Investing with Confidence, sponsored by Online Trading Academy, talking about the stock market as always. Also, the futures, Forex, and options market. If you happen to miss tickets to one of our investing classes that we do locally right here, you can text the word investing to the number 210 210. That's text the word investing to the number 210 210 for those free tickets. If you did happen to miss part of the show, don't forget to watch it on YouTube. We got some live people watching right now, but also check out the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our iHeartRadio, wherever that podcast station that you listen to is. We are on there, and we are on there every single week. Al, as you talked about in that last segment in retirement accounts, it's imperative to do things yourself because I got to ask you a question, Al. It's kind of a no-brainer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. In retirement accounts or in finances in general, who has your best interest? You, or is it a stranger?
Well, that's an easy question to answer.
That's why I said it was a
It
no-brainer.
would be you. Thank you for throwing me an easy one.
Hey, sometimes I gotta throw you a softball. Hey, we have a good time here on the show, but I don't want to put you down. But that was a good softball, wasn't it?
That was a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's just kind of like every time I look in the mirror, you always got to throw one back at me. I see Brad Pitt, and it's why.
Because you have a picture of Brad Pitt pasted on your or taped onto your mirror.
We know it's not because I actually look like Brad Pitt, very handsome. And you're handsome yourself, Al.
Brad Pitt actually called once and said, "Hey, stop saying that. I'm going to get my attorney involved."
Oh, he probably will. Well, let's keep that off the air today. But Al, I want you to cover this. You had something special for our listeners about fees.
Right.
What are you talking about? What's happening in retirement accounts, and what is this study that you've seen?
Well, one of the reasons that 401ks have really fallen down as far as the returns that people should have when they retire is because of fees. That's a constant sucking sound or drawing out of money out of your retirement accounts. It's like somebody drilling a hole in the bottom of your retirement bucket and money is dripping out on a regular basis. Those fees can cost you anywhere from 50 to 75% of what you could have. Now, I said, and I think I said in the last segment, I've said this at numerous shows, if you set up a self-directed IRA, you don't have fees. Yet here's an article that I just read that said that retirees are losing billions of dollars to high IRA fees when they roll their 401k accounts into a similar IRA account. Doesn't that just go against what I just said?
Mm-hmm.
The key word here is rolling their 401k accounts into a similar IRA account. In other words, taking your mutual fund accounts in your 401k, rolling it into an IRA, and keeping a mutual fund there. And so this article really just it feeds right into what we're saying about fees. In this article, it says the amount of retirement savings lost in rollovers like this potentially reaches tens of billions of dollars.
That's crazy.
And the reason is that when you're going from a 401k, say, to a self-directed IRA, you're probably going from an institutional mutual fund to a retail mutual fund. And the cost of those retail mutual funds is much higher. The fees are exorbitant in those funds and those fees. And, in this article, which is from CBS News, talks a lot about that and even says this: institutions steer workers into IRAs without understanding their specific circumstances, while workers may not understand they're being sold a product. So it's really important to make sure that you're not doing the same thing that you have been doing in your 401k. Roll it into a self-directed IRA. You can do stock trading. You can do mutual fund trading if you want to, but then you're going to have those fees. You can do futures trading. You can do options trading, foreign exchange market trading. Those are available to you in a self-directed IRA without those fees. So, understand how to do it. We'll talk about that in these classes. If you need help, we can show you how to easily do that. It's a very easy process to do, but you want to make sure that you are doing this in a way where you're not being exposed to additional fees that can have a bigger hit on you. That's a huge component of retirement accounts that's putting people in a situation where they're in a crisis situation.
Yeah. You're talking about that, and you just got me to thinking is 401ks and IRAs, people think they are investing. They want to be investing in the market. And according to that article and what you were talking about there is it's almost like they're not, if you think about it. They're being sold products. They're buying products that cost a ton in fees. it's kind of counterintuitive, and that's why, you're talking about self-directing this yourself. I mean, you talked about the MF word, mutual funds, probably one of the most devastating things in retirement plans because of those fees.
Right.
Well, what was it? How many billions of dollars that's being lost in just the rollover to a similar
Yeah,
program?
tens of billions of dollars.
That's crazy. That's billions of dollars that's going out of the American people's pockets into the institution's
Right.
pockets.
Yep.
Well, let's educate our listeners and keep that money in their pockets, or have that opportunity to keep more of that capital and not give it to Wall Street. Just here's part of my money just to move something and put me in the same product that cost me a lot of fees. Well, do that yourself. You want to learn more about that, we have investing classes to introduce you to these different techniques that Al is talking about, these different concepts to do it yourself. I think most of our people are do-it-yourselfers for pretty much anything that they do. Learn the skills and techniques to do the financial markets yourself. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 free tickets for an investing class to get started today. Text the word investing to the number 210-210. You're also going to receive a quick start kit. This will help you get started right away. So, as you were talking about that stuff, Al, was just kind of thinking, how can I relate to my listeners, and really help people be comfortable, the theme of the show, doing this. And, anytime somebody doesn't feel comfortable doing something, doesn't matter what it is, they don't do it. They'd say, "Oh, I'll just, I'll get at it later," right? Well, is that the right thing to do with your finances, especially if you're trying to build some wealth, if you're trying to build a legacy for your family? You can't just push it off. So, Al, I want you to educate our listeners a little bit on the best way to set up their own 401k or their own IRA and maybe do it themselves.
Mhm. Yeah, well, a good way to start is to come into one of these classes and ask us specific questions if you have them about how to do it. But it's very easy. There are a number of brokers out there, a number of really good brokerage firms that will let you set up a self-directed IRA. For some of you, you might be able to set up a Roth IRA, which
Hmm.
is a great investment vehicle because everything comes out of it tax-free. And we can talk about those things in this class too. But it's an easy process to do. Wall Street doesn't want you to think it is because they don't want you to be able to do this. If you're self-directing, you're taking away one of their income components, which are the fees that they would
That's
charge
those
you.
billions of dollars that they make every year. And it's
It-
not even by performance, it's just
you know,
assets under management.
exactly. That study that I quoted before, the Vanguard study that showed the low median 401k account size. That was Vanguard. Well, the guy that was one of one of the starters, one of the guys that actually started Vanguard mutual funds, Jack Bogle, he actually started to come out pretty much against what was happening in the mutual fund industry because of the high fees and the mediocre returns. He felt that the public, for the most part, was being taken advantage of by the typical mutual fund. And here's a guy that actually started a mutual fund company.
Hmm.
So there are assets that you can use that you maybe have not been exposed to because they're not in Wall Street's best interest. But what we'll talk to you about is how they can be used in your best interest. Unfortunately, Josh, we see a lot of people that come in that are in retirement that thought they were going to have a great, secure retirement, do all this traveling, visit their grandkids, maybe buy an RV or a cabin, and they have to go back to work, or they
Hmm.
have to postpone their retirement, or they have to move into a smaller house. I even saw one Wall Street article where an advisor said, "Get a roommate." How would you like to go into retirement, which should be your golden years, and have to put an ad in the paper or on the internet for a roommate? That's not what you want to do in retirement. I mean, you have to act. This is the time to do it. If you're still working, you have a great opportunity to generate additional income that can help you to have that potential for your golden retirement. If you're in retirement, those are the assets that we teach you that are income producing assets that you can use in retirement. But know how to protect your assets first so you don't work hard and then lose them. Know how to grow your accounts, generate income off of them. Those are all things that we'll talk to you about in this class. Don't go through retirement just with your fingers crossed, hoping that you don't get hit with a big drawdown and lose the money that you worked so hard for.
Yeah, the big thing is that you got to kind of think about it. What's the real reason? I mean, we get a lot of people that listen to the show, thousands of people all across the country and actually all across the world on the podcast. But you got to think about what's the real reason you're looking at the market. Is it for income? Is it for wealth? It really doesn't matter. You got to. What is the real reason? Is it to help your family? Is it to help your future? Is it help build to build a legacy? Is it to be secure? Is it to be comfortable? Whatever that reason is, you have to act now. And I encourage people. Hopefully, we've inspired people to get started today. Here's another text line here to an investing class to get started. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 to get started in the financial markets. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 free tickets. Al, hit them up with the old OTA tip of the week.
Well, you know what, Josh? The sad truth is that there's too many people in life that are not unlocking, realizing their true potential. It's especially true when it comes to trading and investing. And psychology plays a big part in reaching your potential. Your mindset controls what you do. Most successful people take control of their mindset and they concentrate on what can go right instead of dwelling on what could go wrong. A majority of those successful people do it with the help of a coach or a mentor. That coaching and providing support and guidance, those are critical components of how we at the Online Trading Academy help our students achieve their full potential.
Yeah, that old saying, good things happen to good people. I would say go a little bit further. Positive thinking happens to positive people, hopefully bringing positive results. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 free tickets for an investing class. As always, same time, same place next week. Until then, retire young, my